Hey, this is Coach Casey. You ever wonder why you do nice things for people and they just don't seem to appreciate it, or they just don't care, and you're left feeling like, what did I do that for? Stick around. We're going to talk about that problem. And in the meantime, I hope that you like and subscribe and ring the notification bell, because every week I try to do good, informative videos on sobriety and wellness. Now, let's get to this feeling of not being appreciated. So the concept of reciprocity, I do for you, you should do for me, is as follows. It's a technique that is used in negotiations and in personal relationships, where we seem to think that just because we've reached out and been kind and generous or patient or understanding, that that person's going to do that in return. And that is not a fatal mistake, but it's an important mistake that we make, particularly if we're in recovery and we're trying to rebuild ourselves. And let's go a little bit further into this. Let me tell you a personal story. So years and years ago, I was a volunteer in a youth sports organization, and I had one gentleman that just was, yin to my yang. We basically had lots of problems communicating. And one day, in a fit of anger, he said to me, Casey, if you think you're doing this because people are going to say thank you, you're wrong. And you know what? The guy was right. So what's the step that we miss in all of this? Hang around. The step that we miss is it's imperative to take care of ourselves first. Now, I'm not talking about being selfish and gimme, gimme, gimme kind of attitude, but I'm talking about the fact that unless we reach some level of self-actualization, which means being aware of who we are, our faults and our strong points, and be able to internalize our approach to the world and understand it, until we get that strong definition of our character, principles, and boundaries, we're going to let people step all over us, because we're not going to know how to say no. And hey, present and accounted for, I've got to work on that too. Transparency here. But I've learned that's very important, to stop for 1 second and say, what's in this for me and why am I doing this? Let me give you another strong example. Another example that I can think of right off the top of my head is so common in recovery. I am going to get sober for fill in the blank: wife, spouse, partner, friend, kids, you name it. And then that fill in the blank person is going to love me so much and appreciate the hard work I'm doing for sobriety. You know what? They're on a whole nother trip in their mind, okay? They maybe, number one, are tired of hearing you promise that you're going to get sober or stop taking drugs or smoking or whatever bad habit you have. And number two, they're tripping off on themselves. They've got their own agenda, and they're not going to take time to say, what a hero you are. Oh, thank you so much. See, they're not the ones that need to be healed. Well, maybe they do, but in the immediate circumference of your life, you're the one that needs to get healed, and me too. So I have to go ahead and work on myself until I reach a point where, one, I have my immediate problem under control, and two, if needed, I'm reaching out to therapists, physicians, priests, or coaches like myself to help me along that process, because it's going to boomerang. The concept of reciprocity can be dangerously unbalanced. So the next time you feel underappreciated, it might be because you're not thinking about yourself. There's more on this channel about sobriety and wellness, and I hope you do like and subscribe, but I need your comments and your likes. The channel's growing. It's still a small channel, but it's a great channel, and I thoroughly enjoyed talking with you and listening to my comments. Well, reading them, okay? You don't listen to them. Reading the comments, getting ideas for great contact, and I love those likes. I love those likes, and so does YouTube. So in the meantime, see you in the future. Do for yourself before you do unto others.